How do you quiet your mind? I imagine there are many different ways that you can quiet your mind. And sometimes it's not the easiest thing to do, especially when that's not something that you're used to doing. So that's the question tonight. That's the topic for tonight. How do you quiet your mind? And as you come in, share this broadcast out, invite others to the conversation. As you do come in, also let me know that you're here. You can do comments, give reactions. That way I'll know that you're actually here, because that's the way Facebook's got it all figured out. So what I'm going to do right now is just invite a few people in, and then I'm going to go ahead and get started. And I really want you to think about it and let me know if you agree with what I'm saying. If you don't, that's okay. You can give reactions from a thumbs up to that face on the end that says, I really don't agree at all. And that's okay. That's what, conversating is all about, right? Different opinions. No one person has all of it right. So I just want to take a few moments here, invite a few people in. And again, as you come in, please do invite. That's for you, my replay viewer, as well. Please do invite people in. I appreciate it. More to the conversation, the better. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I'm Hillary Gooden. Hey, Mike Chavez. Hillary Gooden, your Vibrant Life Coach, certified lymphology expert, and I empower people with strategies to get their life back from different stresses that stress the body, mind, and spirit, using tools and techniques to work the lymphatic system, as well as holistic practices to help bring balance to the body, mind, and spirit the way God intended. And one of these things that we need to do is to be able to quiet our mind. It can make such a difference in your life. Now, I have a quote here from Pascal. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He said, all humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit in a room alone. And I know that's hard for a lot of people. I've been in situations. I personally don't have a problem with that. To be able to sit to myself with my thoughts, or in prayer, or just in contemplation and meditation, or whatever, or just chilling. But for some people, that's a hard thing to do. And so I remember a story. I have a story. This guy that used to fix on cars. He was what you call the alley mechanic. He literally used to fix on cars in the alley behind his house. Everybody in the neighborhood knew where you could go and get your car fixed, get your oil changed, get your brakes done, and all that kind of stuff, right? Hi, Trace. Thank you for coming in. And this man, he had a little guy. He was a man, but he was just this little guy, right? He used to work with him to kind of help him out, picking up tools and running to the store. The automotive store was like right next door to him and stuff. So this little guy, my mother was there one day with him, and she had me cracking up. She said, the little guy was following him around, just following him like he was just on his heels. Every step that the mechanic made, his little helper was just right on him, till he turned around and he said, man, what is wrong with you? Why you right up on me? I told you to sit over there. He said, I can't be alone by myself. And that's how a lot of people feel, that, no, there's got to be other people around. There's got to be noise going on. I have to have the radio on, the TV on, the something. There's got to be noise. There's got to be others involved. There's always got to be talking. And nowadays, we interacting so much on our phones. And I have that feeling as well as you. What do you do if you leave your phone at home and you're not that far? You've started and you've got to the end of the block. What are you going to do? Trace, Mike, like most of us, you're going to turn around and go back and get that phone. because it's like, oh no, I can't be without it. And just being in constant contact with the world, literally with the world. And that's good, but I think there are moments. We need to have moments. We need to have moments where we put the phone to the side, go into another room, away from the notifications and the buzz and the little noises and all this stuff that let us know there's something going on. There's something going on. There's something going on. In order to just have some moments to ourselves to be quiet. Just to be quiet. It helps your mind to help you to get into a place where you're just relaxed and your cells and different things that are on 10 all the time in your body can relax for just a few moments. 5 to 10 minutes can make such a big difference. That may be asking a whole lot. I imagine for some, just even trying it for 1 minute. That's just like they say doing when you do planks, the exercise plank, and they say you do 20 seconds. You think 20 seconds? That don't seem like no time at all. I can knock that out. But if you get down there, that seems like the longest 20 seconds ever. 30 seconds. Oh my God. Right? And if you're not used to being quiet, 5 to 10 minutes may seem like just a lifetime. So even starting for a minute, practicing just being still and just being quiet without the kids. I don't know, if you got children, what you need to do is so that they can understand that this is your time. If it means going to the bathroom, means going out to the garage, go sit out in the car. However, you need to make space and time to just be quiet. During your time of being quiet, you might be reflecting on, like at the end of the day, reflecting on what has happened during your day, how your day went, what was good about the day. It's always good to be in a mindset of gratitude, being thankful for finding something to be thankful for that happened in your day. And as I always say, there's no one day that's all bad. If we are mindful and if we're paying attention to moments, there are moments where something good happened, but maybe you might have missed it and failed to be aware of it because being on 10 all the time, all day, focus on what went wrong versus the thing that happened that was good. Hey, Kelly Harper, thank you for coming in. I appreciate that. And as you come in, please share this broadcast out. Sharing is caring, they say. Another way to help you to get to what you can do when you're in that quiet time that helps you to relax is deep breathing. You all know, and if you don't know, deep breathing is one of those ways to help work your lymphatic system. And deep breathing will help to bring you to a place of peace, a place of relaxation, a place where your body begins to calm down. And it can happen, I found that there are different ways of breathing, different methods of breathing, depending on what you're trying to do. But when you're deciding that, I'm going to be quiet and I'm just going to do some deep breathing, a lot of it is just being even focused on your breath. Like if we just did that for a few seconds right now, I hope you're being quiet. I don't know if you're talking while I'm talking or if you're really paying attention. But if you are paying attention, and my replay viewers, I'm talking to you too. If we take a few seconds right now just to be quiet, we don't, sometimes they say, well, you have meditation music or something quiet and soft, and you'll be focusing on that. I think it's good to just be quiet. So for a few seconds, we're just going to be quiet. And what I want you to do is pay attention to your breath, because your breathing will come into as you're more aware of it, and as you just allow yourself to be quiet, your breathing will balance out to a place that's where your heart is not racing, where your heart, you'll begin to just feel that there's a difference that's bringing you down. You're bringing you down to a place of relaxation, to a place of calm. So let's just try it for a few seconds here. Okay. Now that was just 10 seconds. And if that was hard for you to do, me telling you to do 5 to 10 minutes may seem like, oh my God, that was only 10 seconds. That seemed like that was forever. But just in that little bit of time, first of all, did you do that breathing with me, Tracy, Miss Kelly? Did you all actually notice what I was talking about? If you did, put a 1 in the comment. That would help me to know if you actually tried that with me, or and my replay viewers, that's for you as well. Put a 1 in the comment if you did try that. And did it seem like it was a really long time? That's what I'd like to know. So, deep breathing, paying attention to your breath as you just become quiet is good. And then when you just do actual deep breathing, that's going to help you to even get to a deeper place of calm and relaxation and peace, that you'll find that you don't want to just jump out of that time, jump out of that space. The more that you do it, the better you feel, and the better you feel, the more that you will do it and you want to do it and spend more time in that state. So learn to take time to quiet your mind. Hi, Cheryl. Thank you for coming in. Talking about how do you quiet your mind. And so that's my question for everybody that's listening and that will listen. Just in the comments, just give me one way. How do you quiet your mind? Well, you know you need to get in a place to quiet yourself. What do you do? What's your number one way that works for you every time? Hey, thank you for those reactions so much, right? What's that one way? What is that thing that you do to help you to quiet your mind? That's what I'd like to know. So I'll go on. We were just talking about some different ways to do it, and we just took 10 seconds to see what it's like to just be quiet, without music, without any other things that would be distractions as well. Just spending a few moments. I know, right? We did it, and it was only 10 seconds, and to some, that 10 seconds may have seemed like, oh my God, you mean that was only 10 seconds? I thought I did a minute, But if you want to help your body help you, you want to help your mind to help you, we have to give our mind a time where it can just relax during the day, not just when we're asleep. Sometimes we got so much going on in your life that like a blanket that covers so many different areas of your life, that taking those moments, finding moments that you say, you know what, I'm just going to take these. I got a minute, I got 2 minutes. I'm just going to go over here to myself and just sit and be quiet before I run off doing the other things that I have to do. And you'll find that what happens when you do that, you'll find that you're able to do everything else that you need to do, but everything is not an emergency. Sometimes we go through life like everything is an emergency. Our body feels it. Your mind feels it. Your spirit is tired. My body, mind, and spirit is just all wrapped up in that frenzy of emergencies. Everything being an emergency. And when you take time to quiet your mind, you'll find that, you know what? Everything's not an emergency. The mind has a lot of excess clutter. Exactly. And we put it there. So that's one way. That's a good way to look at that too, Cheryl. That's one way of helping the mind to declutter. And as you go forward, your mind will help you to say, you know what, that's really not an emergency. That can wait. Or that thing, I'll get to it. And if I don't do it right now, the world is not going to come to an end, a screeching end. It's okay. So that's why it's good, especially if you're a busy person in your business, with your family, on your job. You're just somebody that a lot of people depend on. You do volunteer work, whatever it is that you do, you help to look after other people. You need time where you just quiet your mind, and it doesn't have to be even the 5 to 10 minutes that I suggested. Just doing 10 seconds can let you see, wow, that was beneficial, and that was only 10 seconds. Right? So, other things that you can do when you're sitting quiet, visualization, visualizing, sit still and be still so your mind can slow down, reshuffle, and purge. Girl, that's good. And that's exactly what I'm saying. Well said. Well said. That's exactly what I'm saying in all the words that I use. That's exactly it, because our mind can take on a lot. Sometimes I find myself surprised at what all is in there, that has happened, and the stuff that I'm able to recall and remember. And then you think about those things that you have in your mind that you may need later, but you got a lot of other stuff in there because of when you look at life like everything is important, everything is an emergency. Your mind holds on to stuff. And some of it is just clutter and needs to be purged. If we will allow our mind to help us, we have to help our body help us. We have to help our mind to help us. And this is one way to help your mind to help you, is to find times to be quiet. Allow quiet to be your friend. Thank you for those reactions. Take time for you. This is loving yourself. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Joyce, for sharing this broadcast. Absolutely. Visualization is one thing. Some people are really key on that. And that's good. You're visualizing your where you want the rest of your day to go. So far, this is it. This is what's happened. But in order for me to get some things done, this is, you visualize what you need to do, how you need to do it. You visualize on how peace, if you had peace, what that would look like for you. Visualize that, so that your mind can begin to say, oh, so that's what you want to happen. I thought you liked all this frenziness. I thought everything was an emergency. I'm trying to help you. But we have to help our mind. And so visualization is a thing that can help you. Thank you again for sharing this, Cheryl. Now, meditation. Meditation, I find for me, personally, the best way for me to flow into meditation is after prayer. When I have a time that I sit and I pray, and then after prayer, after I've said all the words I need to say, then I sit still. I don't just jump up from prayer and start running and doing and being and all of that. To sit in quietness after that, because it's like the natural flow for me. The natural flow if you let it be. And it's such a beautiful place, being in the presence of God. It's such a beautiful, peaceful, quiet, personal place, and that's when a time of purging can happen. Stuff that you don't need to be worrying about can just flow away or flow to the back burner because we had it on the front burners way too long. Everything, that's just like when you're cooking. Now Cheryl, she does cooking on her lives, and just watching you cook or you knowing about cooking, you got usually for most stoves, you got 4 irons, right, on the stove. You can't put everything on the front burners. Some stuff got to go on the back burner. Not to say that it's not as important as the stuff on the front burner, but everything just can't fit at the same time on the front burner. We have to learn to use the back burner. Okay, and we can get more done. We can get more done versus saying, you know what, I can't cook the rest of this because it's got to be on the front burner. Well, you're not using the back burners. You know, our mind is so multifaceted. It can do a lot. But everything can't be in emergency mode. You know? Yeah. Everything just can't be on the front. We have to learn to put some things on the back burner. Allow it to still cook, so to speak. Allow it to still be something that you know you need to do or you know you need to get to or deal with, but it don't have to be on the front burner. It's okay. So, meditation, and that's being mindful, just being in a place of being mindful of you. Being mindful when the prayer, you've been mindful of God's presence, you know. And it's such a beautiful thing. I learned to do that when I first, you know, in my walk with the Lord. I learned to do that early on. And I thought everybody did that. But I found out everybody don't. Sometimes I can be in prayer with some people and they clap all the way through. Loud. Clap, clap, clap. Just be clapping because they have somehow making a lot of noise is reaching the heart of God, or they feel like they're really doing it because they're really getting through, or it's really powerful because they're clapping. But I think a lot of times they haven't learned to be in that quiet place. That quiet place where you don't want to break the presence. You don't want to break it like, how can I say, when you're in a quiet place and somebody walk in the room and say, hey, what you doing? You just like, oh, wait a minute. Shh. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Because they just break that whole atmosphere. Right? So meditation is good. If you are not up to doing 5 to 10 minutes or more, thank you for those reactions, then start out with that minute. Or, you know, you got on your watches, on your phones, where you can put in those seconds, or you can with the time clock. I found a site, I wish I knew the name of it now, that is good for meditation, where you can go in there and put in timers, like for every few seconds or for every minute, that it will make a sound, like either like a gong or whatever it is that you choose, to let you know that you reached that time period that you set. And so until you reach that time, you're just sitting and you're meditating, or sitting in that quietness and becoming familiar with you, right? It's okay to spend time with you. Yes, lower your voice, please. You know, especially when you know you're in that sweet spot, and maybe you're starting to get revelation. Maybe you're starting to get answers to some questions. Maybe you're starting to realize, oh, this is what the problem I've been trying to figure out. I finally understand what I need to do. Answers and solutions to issues and problems can come during that time of being quiet. Whereas your mind was too active, too much going on, that you can't think clearly. You know, thoughts can't get to you as quickly because it's just too much going on all the time. So then what will happen if you spend daily? I had a person that I worked with. She would spend time, she said she was meditating, and I didn't think it was true at first, because this person was on 10 on 10, always getting things done and, delegating and all that stuff. But come to find out, she really did do this. And I was like, wow, okay, that's good for her, because it's a lot of responsibility on what she had to do. And so if you find yourself and you know that you have a lot of responsibility, you got to make time. You should make time. You need to make time just for you. That's self-care, And like my sister was saying, that's time just for you, and it's okay. It's not selfish. Giving into self-care, it does not make you selfish. It just makes good sense, because then there's more of you to give out, when you allow yourself to be replenished. That's what also can happen during that time, right? Close yourself off, find you a place where you can be quiet, and take those moments. Take those moments just for you. Your family, the more you do it, hey, Sue, the more you do it, the more those around you that love you, that know you, that work with you, or however they're related, they'll come to know that, oh, we can't, this is her quiet time. This is her time of meditation. We can't bother her. Hey, Sylvia, thank you for coming in. As you come in, please do share this out. And people will begin to respect it once they see, oh, this is something that you do, And if they don't respect it, well, then, that don't stop you from doing what you need to do. And, they're either going to get with the program or whatever. I don't know. But usually people understand, oh, we got to let her have her time, and then we can get all our answers, all our questions answered, find out what's for dinner and all of that stuff after she has her quiet time, or after he has his quiet time. This is not just for women. Everybody needs to have a time where they can get quiet. Just get quiet. Slow it down. It's not bringing everything to a screeching halt, because I know the first thing that can happen, you say, you know what, I'm going to meditate. I'm going to do that 10 minutes. She said 5 to 10 minutes. I could do 10 minutes. That's easy. And guess what happens? Even for prayer, you sit down and you say, okay, I'm going to meditate, or I'm going to get into some prayer. And the next thing you know, your mind starts telling you, did you finish that list you was doing earlier today? You forgot to get the stuff from the grocery store. You need to go do it now. All of these different things that start coming to your mind. You say that just stops you or tries to prevent you from getting into that quiet place. That's why I said maybe you should work up to it. If 10 minutes ain't too long, try a good minute where you time it so you can feel that minute. Know what a minute of time feels like, so that, you can do that anytime, anywhere, especially in small spurts like that. Sometimes you need it before you have to go into a serious meeting, or something that's really important that you need to be interacting with someone else. You need that little time so that you don't fly off the handle, so that you don't get very reactive. You know what I mean? You'll be able to come from a place of peace and power. If you got peace, you got power. Right? So 5 to 10 minutes daily, or find you some moments. We did 10 seconds. Maybe you try 30 seconds. 60 might seem like way too much at first. And what'll happen is, like I just said, you'll find yourself being less reactive. Things don't bother you as much. Things don't throw you off your apple cart as much, off your pace, off your rhythm. Things don't make you go off on people. as much. Don't say that the situations have changed or the people have changed, but you got a change going on in you. Thank you, Cheryl. Yes, please do share this broadcast out. The last thing I wanted to say is that it gives you a greater perspective. Like I was talking earlier, you realize everything's not an emergency. It took me a long time to get there, too. I used to have a lady that my mother and I would go by her house to pray. She was an elder lady, and she was real strong in prayer. And I used to love going over to visit with her. And she would always say when I come in, "Baby, you so worried. Why you just got worried all over you, baby?" And she would get up and she rubbed me on my back, and I'd be sitting there thinking, I just walked in the door. What is she talking about? I don't feel like I'm worrying. And at that time, I guess I had a lot of stuff. Sometimes I find myself not sharing or talking to people about stuff that I'm going through, But she always picked it up. Always, And I learned to just have those times of quiet time, had that time of prayer, and then that time of quiet afterwards. I always called it my afterglows, time of afterglow. And that peacefulness. And it really has made me realize everything is not an emergency. Just because, what is the saying I have? This quote. It says something to the effect that like you miscalculated your time does not constitute an emergency on my part, And sometimes people come at you and they want their thing to be your thing and be your thing right now with the greatest of urgency. You don't have to receive everything like that. And the more that you can spend quiet time and in that place of peace, see what's happening, your mind begins to help you. Like Cheryl, if you see it in the comments a little earlier, Cheryl mentioned how we talking about it being able to replenish and to declutter the mind and to purge during that time of quiet. That will help that process to happen inside of you, inside of your mind, inside of your brain. And then your brain will say, "Oh, you know what? That thing right there, that can be on the back burner. That is not an emergency." And you'll find yourself having more peace in other areas, in all areas of your life. Peace in how you deal with things. Peace in how you react to things and people. It's a powerful place to be in. And you got the power to get yourself there, And it takes time, especially if that's not something you already do. It takes time. Over a period of time, you will find that you'll be walking in more peace and more power. A beautiful place to be in. And so that's really what I wanted to talk about tonight. And just to make you ask yourself, well, how do I have quiet time? How do you quiet your mind? That was the question. How do you quiet your mind? And if you haven't thought about self-control, and self-control sometimes is not easy when you don't have peace, right? I know some people that they don't have peace. I had a young lady get in my face about a month ago. And how I probably would have reacted to that some years ago is much different than how I reacted to it when it happened. And there was a situation where she signed off on something and it wasn't the right form. And so I told the gentleman, I said, listen, she needs to fill out the right form. That's unacceptable. And so he called her back and he said, Miss Hillary said, you need to use the correct form. It's not going to work. And evidently she hung up on him. And then she marched. Next thing I know, I heard him at the door talking to her. And he said, well, she's in her office. I know he was talking about me. And so she come march. I heard footsteps. Boom, boom, boom. I'm like, oh, what's going on here? She marched into my office and threw the form on my desk and wanted to and asked me, well, what form do you want me to girl? What do you want me to do? And she had all of this stuff going on with her. And I'm just kind of looking at her thinking, what is her real problem? She appears to really have a problem. And guess what Hillary knows? I'm not the problem. I'm not your real problem. When you can get that in place, that help you deal with a lot of stuff from a place of power and peace. To realize just because they're coming at you does not mean you're the real problem. And so the young lady, and you know what was so strange? This is a person who otherwise would want to talk to me all the time about how good God is. God is so good, Miss Hillary. Oh, it's such a blessing. You be blessed now. But this particular day, I don't know what all that was. But I just kind of looked at it saying, that don't belong to me. This, whatever this is, don't belong to me. And I stood up and just kind of walked her back up out of my office. And, I was like, we'll get you the right form, but this form still is not acceptable. And she just snatched herself, all this body language was going on. And so the young man, I turned around and I looked at him and he was like, I don't know what that was. I said, I don't either. I'm not even worried about it. And then about 30 minutes later, she came back with the correct form, filled out, asked him, is this okay? Could you ask her if this is okay? I said, that's fine. After he showed it to me, and then she walked away. Did she ever apologize to me? No. And my birthday was yesterday. My birthday was yesterday. So thank you all for well wishes for those that did, and the birthday blessings. And I saw her. She said, she said, happy birthday, Miss Hillary. I was like, thank you, But sometimes, this is getting off subject. How do you feel about a situation happening like that? The person needs to apologize. But for whatever reason, that apology may never come. How would you react to it? Or would that bother you? Would that bother you, Cheryl or Sue or whoever else may be listening, my replay viewer? Would that bother you if you never got that, what do you call it, that apology where it seems like clearly one is needed? Being in a place, spending time, having quiet times and to push you in a place of peace allows you to not let things like that stick around too long. It's like, no, that just needs to go. I'm not going to allow that to take up space. I got enough other things that need to take up space, right? So how do you handle, or how do you quiet your mind is the question tonight. Thank you. And if you haven't been using quiet time as a tool to hold on and to have your peace, incorporate it daily, some way, somehow. Do it for you. And if you need help, you haven't figured out how to do that, you need some accountability, you need some support on different ways that can help you, listen, all you got to do is direct message me and I got you. We can get on the talk, because that's what I do. Help you so you can be empowered with strategies on how you can help your body help you. Oh, that's a long one. I'm going to have to read. Initially, it may bother me, but I'm in a place now where I understand that someone can do you wrong and never see the wrong in it. I'm able to move forward now, even though it may hurt to do so without, I imagine it says, without the apology. Yeah, and that's moving from a place of peace and power. Your peace and power being intact in your own pocket. right? So it's nothing like it. If it never comes, you have to move forward, you know. And sometimes people are not aware. Sometimes you have to move by how those unctions, you know, sometimes you get an unction from God that maybe he wants you to say something, because maybe that person's not even aware. Some people don't have, how can I say, some people, like I know a girl that used to tell me, I never ask for forgiveness from anybody. I never say I'm sorry to anybody. She said, as a child, even as a child, my parents were up and back and forth to the school. Half the time, I was the reason. I was the one started fights, you know, and that my parents back and forth said, but they always took up for me. I never had to say I was sorry. I never had to say forgive me. And so I'm talking to her about, you know, things of God, and she was like, I just don't understand this forgiveness part. Why? So some people coming from a whole nother place that's so totally different than where place and space that you're in, that they don't even understand. They don't even understand, like you just said, Cheryl. So, you know, unless you get unction like that, sometimes you just need to let things go so you can move forward, and forgive, so that you can release yourself from it, and so that it don't hold you down in any kind of way. Because sometimes we got things that are holding on, that's in our mind. Our minds are entertaining thoughts that are not effectual for you moving forward, right? Unhindered by that thing, because it keeps playing it, it keeps playing it, keeps playing it, keeps playing it, and we keep nursing it and rehearsing it, and then it's just there. But when we learn to disperse it, you know, that's something this man used to say. He was a televangelist back in the 80s, I believe it was. And he used to talk about offenses. He said, you know, you need to stop nursing it. Don't rehearse it, but you need to disperse it to God. You know, and sometimes that just takes practice. Takes practice, just like quiet time, so that you can live from a place of peace and power. It takes practice. So I want to thank you for being here. And Jack Zuvelt, thank you for joining. I'm just about to close this down, so please do catch the replay and share this broadcast out, because there are so many people that need to learn or need to know that it's important to quiet the mind. That alone can help de-stress you. You know, it's a way of de-stressing from so many things that may be going wrong in your life. And sometimes we're stressed out by stuff we hear on the news that's taking place around the world. And we are receiving so much stuff that our mind is holding. And some of that stuff needs to be let go, needs to be purged. You know, quiet time will help your mind to do that, so that you can have more peace, more relaxation. But the main thing is that peace and power. It's nothing like that. Nothing like it at all. So I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing this out. And if you find that you had a question or a comment later, you can also put it there. I want you to know that I am available. All you have to do is direct message me. If you feel that you would like to talk more about this topic and what you're personally going through, just direct message me. Let's get on a call and see how we can work together to help you get your peace and power intact in your own possession. And being quiet time is just one strategy, just one. So thank you for those reactions. I'm Hillary Gooden, your Vibrant Life Coach, certified lymphology expert, and I empower people with strategies to get their life back from different stresses that occur in your body, mind, and spirit, using tools and techniques to work the lymphatic system, as well as holistic practices like quieting the mind, meditation, to bring balance to your body, mind, and spirit the way God intended. So Thank you for being here. I'm here Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays between 8:30 and 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. I came in all right at 9 o'clock tonight. But between 8:30 and 9 o'clock Central Standard Time, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. And I look forward for you being here with me again on Friday. Or unless you need to talk or you want to connect with me, all you need to do is direct message me here on Facebook and we can have that conversation. So thank you. And I'll see you soon. It's been some time, some quiet time. Good night to you as well, my sister. Good night.